Welcome back to the Breakfast Show 2. I'm here this morning with Mark Bliss, who is the author of the Elmwood Mystery book series. The latest mystery is called Grounded in Murder, and that is out right now. Good morning, Mark. How you doing?
Just fine. How are you?
I am great. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in St. Louis County, and then I came to school down at SEMO and graduated from there and got into journalism. Spent most of my time in Southeast Missouri, over 30 years working at the Southeast Missourian, covered everything from crime to courts and education and just about everything else, City Hall.
And then you retired and you started writing books.
Yes.
Wow. And so how did you get into that adventure? Is it just kind of a way to pass time? What was that about?
Well, my first book, Foul Rising, I started thinking about that plot while I was working at the Missourian. I never wrote anything down, but it was kind of in the back of my head because it dealt with flooding, which I covered. And then I just, you know, I like to write. Even as a kid, I would write little stories, you know, on my lined paper and everything, and read it to my folks. So yeah, I've always liked writing, and just because I retired, I wanted to keep doing something, and I always thought it'd be fun to be able to write a book.
Oh yeah.
And I love reading mystery books, and I guess that's why I'm writing mystery.
Yeah, so you put those two together. So what is the Elmwood Mystery series about? Can you give us a little bit of a synopsis?
Yes, it's about a community, a fictitious community, obviously, in Southeast Missouri on the Mississippi River, has a flood wall, has a cable stay bridge. You were saying, yeah, this is a little bit like Cape Girardeau.
Yeah, I think it sounds like Cape.
And then I take different things, background things, and I incorporate like a murder in it, but the background has, you know, it has a Cajun restaurant and it has different things, and there's a lot of elements of it that are a lot like Cape Girardeau. That's because that's what I know. Right. That's what I covered, and so that I think helps make it realistic. And it's about newspaper business, obviously. The two main people in it, the heroes, if you will, are two reporters that work for the local newspaper. And so there's a lot of newspaper stuff, there's a lot of media stuff in there. And so, you know, I used what I learned in my experience in being able to write this.
Right. And so then the latest book that you have is Grounded in Murder. And so this is the latest in the series. And obviously, without giving us too much, what can readers really expect out of this book? Okay,
well, I can tell you it starts out with a body found at the base of a Confederate statue. And then that leads into some Black Lives Matter protests, and a person being arrested, and then these two journalists are trying to figure out what really happened and solve this case. So it's got a lot of interesting things. There's a stark black cemetery in there, so there's a lot of things with racial elements and just history of a community, and I incorporate some of the history of our community into this fictitious city that I call Elmwood.
That is super interesting, and I like how you were able to incorporate loosely Cape Girardeau. So are any of the characters based off of people here in the area?
I would say that not a single person, but I take different parts of different people. Like I have a mayor in it and I have a police chief in it. They're not any one particular mayor, one particular police chief, but I take different aspects, different characteristics of people and put it in there. Some people say they read it and they go, oh, I think it's this person, you know. But again, it's fiction.
Right. And so then where can people find copies of your books?
It's on Amazon and Kindle, and also at Visit Cape at 220 North Fountain here. And they have it, and they'll also be available later this spring at the Glen House. And I'm planning to have some book signings later on this year.
That is awesome. Well, Mark, thanks so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about your books. They sound like such interesting murder mysteries that will keep you intrigued. We'll be back in just a few minutes.